What's good? What's good? I know y'all see the title. Get into this whole Silicon Valley thing with the banks and stuff closing, right? And a lot of people got their money in the bank, and a lot of people have been taking their money out the bank. You know, uh, I think um, my memory serves me right. Like people have, it's been like they say they people have withdrawn like down there like $10 billion worth out of the bank accounts or whatever, right? And it's looking like things is going back to how it was in '08, you know. And so yeah, we just gonna get into a few prophecies and understand like how the Bible spoke about these type of things beforehand. So that's why a lot of us is not really worried about what's going on because we know what's going on because it's we already got the playbook. We understand. So before we start, let's give all praises to the Most High, and we do so in His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, right? So, um, so we, without further ado, we're gonna let's just go to Jeremiah real quick, right? We're gonna go to the book of Jeremiah, and like I said, we gotta get some understanding because even though some of us might know what's going on, but then you got some of us that still kind of you know unease and feeling kind of worry about the state of how certain things is going, right? So, and we got to understand that this is all part of the whole plan. So, and and we got to understand what's happening here. So, without further ado, just start with Jeremiah 28:8, and it says, "The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms." So this is a great kingdom here that we dealing with America. America is an empire. It's not just a country. It's an empire. And so it says the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, war, evil, and pestilence, right? And that's what we're getting ready to witness. And we already been witnessing the whole pestilence with the whole C-19 thing, and then want everybody to get the jump shot, and there's only more to come down the whole pipeline. You understand? So it says, prophets have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, war, and we see what's happening in the news, you know, and then, with talks of perhaps World War III kicking off, and we know that's going to happen, you know, whether it's sooner or later, but it's going to happen. War, evil, and we see the evil, we see the stuff that goes on in the world, you know, and then it says in pestilence, and like I said, we already touched on that about all these different diseases and stuff that's been sprouting up and all that, right? So and that's what we're doing here. We're prophesizing against this great country, which is called America, and we hoping for the downfall, right? Because the downfall of America is equated to our liberation, according to the scriptures. So, and we cannot be saved, you know, how the church always tell you, yeah, I'm saved, but they don't understand that being saved is us being saved from out of this place, away from our enemies. It's not because if you are saved, then why are you still going to the hospital for this illness and that illness and all that stuff? Or why you still have to pay all these bills and you still got all this debt if you were saved? So the Bible says, "He uh, that you know, that uh, what's the word I'm looking for? He that basically he that lasts until the end shall be saved." Right? Paraphrasing. So let's get Isaiah real quick. Let's get Isaiah 41 and 26, right? So, like I said, we gotta understand like what's been happening here, right? And it says, "Who have declared the beginning that we may know." So it said, "Who have declared the beginning?" God declared the beginning, cause He created this whole thing. This is His movie. This is His script that we all living out. So it says, "Who have declared the beginning that we may know it, that we may know." And how do we know? Because when we read this Bible and we read these prophecies, we understand what's happening in the world. That's why we're not flustered and upset when we see certain things happening. Because we know that the Bible says all of this must happen, you know, before the end comes. So that's why we're not upset. It says, who have declared from the beginning that we may know, and before time that we may say he is righteous. Yeah, there is none that showeth ye, there is none that declareth ye, there is none that heareth your words. Meaning, we cannot say that we wasn't warned, we didn't know, because when you read these prophecies, it tell you what's happening, it tell you verbatim what's going on. It's just that when we go to these churches, they don't spend time talking about prophecy. They spend time giving you a feel good message, you know, pumping you up just enough to go in your pockets to give them all your money. But the truth of the Bible is this, prophecy, things must happen, you know, and we got to understand that because more than half of this book is prophecies. And if you take more than half of something, you're going to be left with a little, right? So less than half, should we say, right? So we're being taught less than half of what this book actually says. That's the problem. That's why none of us understand what's going on. So it says, let's get Isaiah 46 and 10. So Isaiah 46 and 10 says, declaring the end from the beginning. So that's what he did. He declared the end from the beginning. When he created this whole thing, he told you how everything was going to turn out. And he told you what was going to happen. This was going to happen, then that's going to happen, then this going to happen. He said that. So this is how we know that the Bible is true, because the Bible is the only book that predicts the future and is accurate. No other book can do that. No, find me another book that can do that. No other book has done that. Archaeologists would tell you that they're still catching up to the history of the Bible. Like, because the Bible talked about the riches of Egypt. Nobody believed it until they started digging in the ground and found the riches of Egypt. The Bible talked about how great Babylon was. Nobody understood about Babylon until they started digging over there in Iraq and they found Babylon. So all this stuff in the Bible, the historians and scholars would tell you, people that's learned, people that went to college to study this stuff would tell you the Bible is 96% accurate when it comes to accounting historical events. That's damn near, that's an A plus on anybody's standards. 96% accurate, right? And I'm led to believe that 4% that they discounted is just stuff that they haven't been able to figure out. But 96% is good on any level, right? So it says, declaring the end from the beginning and from the ancient times the things that are yet not done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasures. So this is all his pleasures, just like a movie director directs a movie and he makes sure that movie comes out exactly how he wanted to come out. That's what he's doing here. And you got to understand, like I stated before, all of this is happening for our benefit, because our salvation is predicated on the downfall of America. That's how this happened. And the pastor is not telling you that because they telling you that you already saved. But it tells you, he that endured to the end shall be saved. We're not at the end yet. We're getting to the end. Then hopefully we can be saved out of this thing when stuff really hit the fan, right? So let's get Isaiah real quick. We're gonna let's get it in the GNT because it reads a little smoother in the GNT, right? So In Isaiah, this is Isaiah 48 and 2. So, and this is, like I said, and this chapter is called God. This chapter is called God is the Lord of the future. Surprisingly, and that's what this chapter is called, Isaiah 48. God is the Lord of the future. So you'll see what the future says concerning America, right? And it says, start at verse 2. And yet you are proud to say that you are a citizen of the holy city, and that you depend on Israel, God, whose name is the Lord Almighty, right? So, um, and that's what this nation said, because they got on a dollar bill, "In God we trust," right? That's what they talk about, right? And it says, and the Lord says to Israel, long ago I predicted what will take place, and suddenly I made it happen. So, and this is what we're talking about. He's talking about, he talk about the downfall of Babylon. You can read about that in Jeremiah, and also in the book of Revelation and other places. It says, long ago I predicted what would take place. Then suddenly I made it happen. I knew what you would prove to be stubborn, meaning a lot of our people will see what's going on and act like, oh yeah, well, it ain't nothing, But by him telling you this was going to happen long ago, and then as you see it happening, you have no other choice but to admit, dang, the Bible is real. God said this was going to happen, and it happened. And and we can't deny that. That's what he's saying. And it says, I knew that you would prove to be stubborn and rigid as iron, and unyielding to as bronze. So I predicted your future long ago. So he said, I pronounced all these events to happen long ago. So when they start happening, you cannot say, "Oh, well, that's just a coincidence." What a coinky. You can't say that, because he written it down. He told us a long time ago that all these things was gonna come to pass. So you can't just say, "Oh, well, stuff happens," right? You don't have that excuse, because he told you through his prophets that all this stuff was gonna take place. And it says, "And I predicted your future long ago, announcing events before they took place, to keep you from claiming that your idols and image made with them made them happen." Meaning, like, you're not gonna be able to go on your vain thoughts and be like, "Oh, well, shit, I already knew that was gonna happen." I said, I read something, or I heard somebody say this a long time ago. You know, but God said, "I've been told you this. I'm the first one to say this stuff." And it says, all I foretold has now taken place. You have to admit my predictions were right. So God is telling you, like, look, this you have to admit that my prediction was right. And that you people didn't know what was going on. You thought this kingdom was gonna last forever. But the sun will. Well, that's even though they say the sun will never set on Britain, but I'm gonna say this about America: the sun will set on America. Right? And it says, "For I have all all I have foretold has now taken place. You have to admit my predictions were right. Now I will tell you a new thing to come, events that I did not reveal before. Only now I am making them happen. Nothing like this took place in the past." So God is saying that, you know all these things happen. He's telling you what's going to happen. This is why we're not flustered and walking around like a chicken with a head cut off, because we know these things were talked about before. And God is telling you, "Hey, look, I spoke about this before, so you can't act like you don't know." Or if you don't know, now you know. You know what I'm saying? So it says, um, boom, boom, boom. It said, "Only now I am making them happen. Nothing like this took place in the past. If it had, you would claim that you knew about it." So God know our people. God know how we are. You tell like, cause especially we like to always one up each other. Like you tell somebody, oh man, um, such and such happened. They be like, oh yeah, I knew that already. This lying and stuff. Try to make it seem like that they understand, they knew what was going on, and 9 times out of 10 they didn't know what was going on. Or they'd be like, you tell them like, they always trying to come at you like that, you know, and try to act like they know what was going on. But God said, He said, if it had, let me read it right. It says, boom, boom, boom. If it had, you would claim. Let me start from here. It said, only now that I am making them happen, nothing like this took place in the past. If it had, you would claim to know all about it. And that's what a lot of us would do. Like, oh man, we knew that was, we knew about that. Just to sound intelligent in the conversation. Then it says, um, it had boom, 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 and I knew that you couldn't be trusted. That you have always been known as a rebel. That is why you never heard of this at all. Why no words of it ever came into your ears, right? So, and that's what we're saying. We're saying stuff that haven't took place before. Because like I said, America's supposed to be the shining city. But we see this place crumbling. We see this place is being taken down slowly but surely, right? Remember the former things of old, for I am God. So and um, where we at? Let's get to jump to Amos real quick. Go to Amos, our dear brother Amos. So let's go to Amos real quick. Amos 3:6. So Amos 3:6 says, shall a trumpet blown, Amos 3:6, it says, shall a trumpet blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Meaning, like when warning sounds start to happen, when you start seeing trouble going on that you can't understand, get you shook up a little bit. It says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it? Meaning, when stuff happens, God is the corporate of these things. They always act like, God and, um, like it says, oh, well, Satan this and Satan that, but they don't understand that Satan works for God. There's no such thing as Satan having his own little rebel stuff going on, and he's just this rogue angel and just doing things. No, when you read the Bible with understanding, you see that all this stuff works together. God has demons and he has angels. He has demons to implement punishment when there's need to be punishment and destruction. Then he has angels that's to minister when there needs to be healing and things to be taken care of in a good way. And that's how it works. It's a balance. What type of God would he be if he didn't have no control over Satan? Satan just out here just willy nilly doing whatever he want to do. That's crazy. That's Greek mythology. Christian church had taught you Greek mythology to make you think that God and the devil are separate when it comes to operations. All right. So, and you got to understand that like I said, we talked about that already. But so then it says, so the trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid. Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it? Surely the Lord Yahweh will do nothing but reveal his secrets to the prophets. So this is why we understand this Bible and what's going on when we read these prophecies. Because God says before he passed judgment on an area, he's going to reveal the secrets to his prophets. He's going to let them know what's going on before he destroy that place. So he can tell the people, hey, look, this is about to happen. So you need to get up out of here. You need to do this. You need to do that. Right? So it says, surely the Lord will do nothing but reveal his secrets to his prophets. So, and that's what's happening. So we got to understand what's happening here in America, because America is going down. So the Lord is sending out his prophets to warn the people, hey, get your stuff together, because this place is not going to be lasting forever. This place don't got too much to go. So, and if you read the Bible and you understand that whenever God destroys a place, before he destroys the place, he always send out his prophets to teach the people and to let them know what's happening in the world before he destroys it. Because then that way, those people don't have no excuse. So you had your chance and opportunity to learn, to see what's going on, but then you decided to, close your ears and turn your back. So then when hell and destruction happen, and then you wonder why you're going through it, that's because he gave you that opportunity, that warning to get up out of it, right? So let's go to Isaiah 45. Isaiah 45 and 7, right? It says, I form the light. This is Isaiah 45 and 7. I form the light and I create darkness. I make peace, I create evil. I, the Yahweh, do all these things. So here we see it again, that God is letting you know that he is the author of all this stuff. So, yeah, he used Satan as a tool to get certain agendas done. But you gotta understand, Satan is not a rogue angel out here that's doing things. All right. So, now with that understanding, so we see like when these certain things happen, the earthquake over in Turkey that killed like 40,000 people, the Lord did it. It wasn't uh, just a coincidence. All this stuff happened. God does all that. It says what it says in Amos. Shall the trumpet be blown and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? 40,000 people dying at once. That's evil. But it just said that should the Lord have not done it? Meaning he the one that authorized all of that. He the one that sent that death angel over there to uh, create havoc over in that land, right? We got to understand what type of God we serve. This is not no game. He is not a God that you can play with. And a lot of us, have our own fictitious God in our head. We try to fit God into a box that we created instead of coming back to the God of the Bible of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We try to fit God into some type of what our understanding is. But God tell you exactly what type of being He is. He's a terrible God. You know, um, just move on, right? We're gonna figure that out. And let's get Isaiah 42, right? Go to Isaiah 42 in 8. It says, I am Yahweh, that is my name, and my glory I will not give to another. Meaning, like, he's not gonna allow y'all to, when stuff happen on this earth, he's not gonna allow y'all to contribute to, oh, this or that, or this happened and that happened. God said, no, give me my glory. I'm the one that does all these things, like we just read. And it says, I am the Yahweh, that is my name, and my glory give I will I will not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Behold, I form things I form behold, the former things are come to pass, and the new things I do declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. That's why we read too that would God tell his secrets to his prophets before he do things. He says, the new things that's springing up, I will tell you of them. And these are new things that we living in. Because the Bible tells you we about to go through a time on earth that never ever happened and never took place before. Right? And we can see this shaping up. The grocery stores is becoming bare. You know, the American dollar is dropping. You got war, America on the brink of war. They trying their best to not to go to war with Russia, China, and Iran, and all of the rest of their cronies. You know, they trying their best to stay out of it, but number one, they done gave them people like almost $100 billion. That's another reason why the economy is crashing. You have you know, then you have the scammers and stuff, that don't scam like millions and billions of dollars from the U.S. government, weakening the dollar even more. So the crazy part is America is being destroyed from the inside out, and that's the crazy thing. You have the rich robbing the poor, you know. So you got all this stuff going on. So let's get Habakkuk real quick. Our dear brother Habakkuk. So now this is Habakkuk. This is Habakkuk. Habakkuk 2. We're gonna start at 2. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. Right. So now this is Habakkuk 2 and 2. And the Lord answered me, said, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that ye may run that readeth. Meaning, when these things come to pass, write it down, make it clear enough for the people can see it, and you can run and go tell them what's going on. And it says, for the vision is yet for a appointed time, meaning the vision that I'm giving you is for a later date. This is what he's talking to Habakkuk, and we're living in that time that this vision is coming to pass. It says, for the vision is yet an appointed time, the end, uh, but the end shall speak and not lie. Meaning, when we get to that point in time, we're going to see that these things is happening, and God did not lie about it. It says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, right? So saying, though it seems like it's taking a long time for all the stuff to unfold, but wait for it. How they say, what's that thing, that movie? Wait for it, but wait for it. And it said it will surely come to pass, right? Then it says, behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. And this is talking about Esau, the so-called European, the so-called white man. And how we know that this is talking about Esau, the so-called European, the so-called white man, because the Bible calls him the wicked one. It calls him the violent one, the wicked. You know, so that's how we know this is talking about him. We got precepts to prove it. And it says, behold, his soul is not lifted, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Meaning like these people are not made right. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're so evil and they commit all these atrocities and they do all this evil around the world. That's why like they can look at a police video of us, you know, being unarmed, getting shot by the police, and they have a different thought about it when they see it. Like, oh, well, maybe he must have did something. Something had to happen. And that's why they have these thoughts. That's why, you know, they act the way they do. That's why they think it's okay for a police officer to shoot a child named Tamir Rice because he's playing with a toy gun. Because the soul in them is not lifted, that's lifted up, is not upright. Right? Let's get Hebrews 12 and 16. And it says, and it's talking about Esau. It says, lest there be any fornicator, meaning somebody that's filthy, nasty, disgusting way of life. And that's these people that we living with here. It says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person. Profane is a root word for pornography. And we know who run the pornography industry and how freakish these people are. It says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, which is the so-called European, so-called white people, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Meaning these people will sell anything. They don't care about what was going on, right? It says, for he knew afterwards that he would inherit the blessing, and he was rejected. So God rejected these people. Hold on, Salaki. So yeah, Salaki. So God rejected these people, and it says, "For He found no place of repentance." So these people can't repent for the evil that they have done. People will be thinking like, "Oh, maybe we can reform this devil. Maybe we can, you know, you know, teach them a better way. Maybe, if we just tell them how hard our lives been and the struggles we've been through, maybe he will ease up." No, it says, what it says, "For he found no place of repentance, though he sought carefully with tears." So God didn't care about this man, trying to pretend to be sorry, because this man don't have a sorry bone in their body. If they was actually able to change, America would actually be equal like they say it is, but it's not. They say equality, but when you look around, the ghettos, it's only us in the ghetto, the Black, Hispanic, and Native American people that are living in these projects and ghettos. But when you think about rich neighborhoods, it's them that's living in those neighborhoods with just a sprinkle of us, right? So how's that equality, right? Where's the equality at, right? So that's how you know this place is a lie. So moving on, it says, let's get Malachi real quick. Because, like I said, we got to prove that this man is the one whose soul is not upright lifted. You know, because some of y'all might still be on the fence because you got a good report with some people at work. So now this Malachi, I'm gonna start at I'm gonna start at 2. So this is Malachi chapter 1 verse 2. "I had loved you," said the Yahweh. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us?" So we're asking God, like, okay, we've been going through all this hellish conditions and stuff. Like, what do you mean you love us? We're not feeling the love, so to speak. He says, um, "Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Said the Lord. Yet I love Jacob." So God's saying, like, Jacob being the Israelites, us, because Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and Esau being the so-called Europeans, or what we might call white people, right? And he says, "And I hated Esau." So he's saying he hate these people. He says, and that's proof that he hates these people. We'll keep reading. "And I hate," because some people might say, well, Esau is talking about Esau the man. Maybe it's just Esau the man. So it says, "I hated Esau and laid his mountains in heritage waste for the dragons in the wilderness." That's how they ended up in them caves, you know, in the Caucasus Mountains. Whereas Edom said, we." So he's saying we. So we is um what's the word I'm looking for? It mean more than one, right? Um, Plural. That's the word I was looking for. So we is a plural verb. It says, "Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build in desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down." That's what God said. Anytime these people build up a kingdom, I'm going to throw it down. What happened to the Roman kingdom? It was thrown down. What happened to the Greek kingdom? It was thrown down. And what's going to happen to the new Roman kingdom called America? It's going to be thrown down. That's why we see these events happening with the banks and stuff, right? And it says, "They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them," like I said, them is a plural word, meaning more than one. So it's not just talking about Esau the man. It says, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. Who is white people? The border of wickedness. What did it say here? Behold, his soul is not lifted up. Is the soul which in him is not upright. Is not upright in him. So, and who are these people? The border of wickedness. That's who we're dealing with when we're talking to these people. That's why these people come up with the most evilest things that a normal person can't think of. Right? That's what they do. It says, and they should be called, and they shall build and I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people, not just one man, not Esau the man, but the people, all his descendants, people that came from him, the so-called European, so-called white people, and the people against whom the Lord has indignation forever. That word indignation means righteous hatred. He hates these people righteously forever. And he has a reason to hate them. Because look at all the violence that they committed on the world. Nobody has the highest body count than these people when it comes to the rape, rob, murdering, uh, and stuff that they went around the world doing. Especially if you want to take account of their wars that they caused. No other nation has a higher body count than these people. And that's just the facts. And it says, back to Habakkuk, start at 5. Ye also, because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man. So, in that transgressing by wine, it's not talking about a white man sitting in a bar drinking like how you used to see, like on those Western movies, they be in a bar drinking, or some little drunk ass white man you see on the street. It's talking about philosophies, because in the Bible, wine is oftentimes meant as philosophies, right? And it says, he also, because his transgression by wine, he is a proud man, neither keeper at home, meaning he don't stay where he's supposed to stay. Yeah, he in every nation, he in their business. He trying to run everybody country and tell them what to do. It says, neither is he a keeper at home who enlarges his desires as hell, meaning like he goes around this and destruct everything. Everything causes destruction everywhere he goes. He enlarges his desires as hell and as death. Cause like hell is, synonymous with the grave. So you can put as many bodies in the ground as you want, because you put that body down in the ground and after a while that body will decay, then it'll disintegrate, and then it goes back into the soil. Then you can keep putting funneling bodies in there, so you never run out of space when it comes to burying people. So that's what it means that he enlarged himself as hell, meaning like he never gets enough of the destruction that he commits and causes around this earth. He never has enough and say, "Oh man, this is too much. Let me slow down." It says he enlarges his desire as hell and as in is as death, and cannot be satisfied. He's not satisfied with all the death and destruction that he's causing around the earth. He's not satisfied by that. That's why he's continuously doing more. It says, cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations and heap unto him all people. Right? And that's what he does, right? Let's get Isaiah 29 real quick. Isaiah 29 and 9 says, stay yourself and wonder and cry out loud and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. Meaning, they're staggering with their philosophies. And the Bible's telling you that this wine that Habakkuk is talking about It's not talking about liquor. It's talking about philosophies and a way of life. So these people are staggering with their philosophies because they're so drunk into what they think is going on, and how they, trying to persuade things to be, right? And let's get Revelation real quick. Jump to Revelation 17 and 1. You got to understand, because like I said, pastor's not going to read all this stuff to you. He's going to, you probably went to church, they done sung a couple songs that you like, you know, uh, preach you a good motivational speech, and just enough where you can feel good and go in your pockets, you know. But what y'all going to come to realize, this is church right here. When two or more are gathered, that is the church, because the people is the church. So this Revelation 17 and 1 says, "And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talk with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore, which is America. America is that great whore, that sitteth upon many waters." Because America has many countries under their grasp, under their control. Says, whom the kings of the earth has committed for fornication, meaning their entanglements, their business deals that they got with this country, they trade, you know, deals that they got with this country, you know, and the imports and exports that they deal with this country. It says, whom the kings of this earth has committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Meaning, a lot of these countries is following America's philosophy. That's why they trying to push this whole democracy on all these countries. Whenever they come and conquer a country, they always pushing this whole democracy thing, right? And which is a sneaky way for them to come in and set up whatever puppet government that they want to have run a thing, right? So and that's what it is. Let's get let's see, what Jeremiah 18 and 6 real quick. Because like I said, in understanding that these people are the wicked, and that and they were created to be the wicked, according to what we read in Malachi, and how we read here. It says, "Behold, his soul is which is lifted up is not upright in him." Right. So this is Jeremiah 18 and 8. I mean 18 and 6. "O house of Israel, cannot I do with you as a potter?" So a potter is someone that's mold clay and make different vases and vase. If you want to be fancy, and different sculptures and stuff, they mold that stuff to look how they want it to look. It says, "O house of Israel, can I not do with you as a potter? Said the Lord. Behold, as the clay is in the potter's hand, so are ye in my hand, O house of Israel." Meaning, God can create. When God create things, He create things for His purpose and make it exactly how He wanted. So when it says in Habakkuk, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him," He created him that way to be an unrighteous person. That's why you can't see eye to eye with him when it comes to justice matters. You might have a sprinkle of them that that gets it, but collectively they're wicked. Because if they wasn't wicked, they wouldn't pass laws that we call Jim Crow laws. They wouldn't have redlining. Slavery wouldn't have lasted as long as it lasted if these people were fairly, fair people. Because somebody might say, well, not all of them is like that. Well, if not, like I said, if not all of them like that, why did slavery last for 400 something years? Then after slavery, why was it something called Jim Crow laws? Then after that, why was it redlining where they would you know create an area for you to live at, and wouldn't allow you to get certain bank loans if they were such a fair people, right? They pass law because this is a law of what they call democracy, where people vote on everything. So, and they say majority rules, right? So if there, so that with that logic, we have to understand and deduce that it is more than enough of them people that feel that way. So we can't just say, "Oh, it's only a few." How could it be only a few? But we see the devastation that our community done suffer. You mean a few people have enough power to create all of that? That's crazy to even think. Those few people should have been stumped out a long time ago. If it's only a few people, right? So just keep on. So it says, "Shall not all of these take up a parable against thee?" And taunt a taunting parable against him, and say, "Woe is him that increase which is not his." And that's what America do. They increase what is not theirs. They rob and steal, and they go to different places and they take, and they increase things that is not theirs. That's why you have here the rich robbing from the poor. What the old folks used to say, squeezing blood from a turnip. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. So they increase what is not theirs. It says, shall not these take up a parable against them and say, against them, and taunting a taunting proverb against them, and say, woe to him that increase that is not his. How long to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And that's what how America runs. And when you read it in other translations, it's talking about debt. America is a debt ran society. They have something which is crazy to anybody ears that can understand. They have something called good debt. Like if you go to a car lot and try to buy a car with cash money, they can be like, well, they're gonna stop you. They're gonna try their best to stop you from paying cash. They're gonna say, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? They're gonna convince you into taking the loan when you have the money in your pocket to pay the car off in cash. Because America is a debt ran society. And when it says, um, how long and unto him that ladeth himself with thick clay, meaning they keep on accumulating debt. When you look at the debt clock, every 3 seconds America lose $100,000. Okay, and it's going up into they like $32 trillion in debt. You know what I'm saying right now. My little Negro mind can't even fathom what $32 trillion look like. But these people are in $32 trillion worth of debt. I get upset if I owe somebody $10. But these people owe the world. I say the world because I'm not, I know they owe China a whole bunch of money, but these people owe many different countries to a total of $32 trillion. And these people is crazy with it. But they just like that guy in the hood, that would go to, how the New York people say, go to Poppy and get a brick. Then they'll go get the brick, don't offer consignment, don't pay them, and then they go buy him a gun and tell Poppy, hey, come get it back then. And they ready to fight you. So that's what America did. They took all this money, they built up their military to make it one of the most powerful military in the world, and they daring other countries to come at them to try to get their money back. And that's crazy. Like I don't know what I would do if I owe a 30 something trillion. That's too much money to even like that's crazy. Like then I don't know what I'll do if I had $30 trillion. That's crazy to even fathom. But this is the people that we're dealing with. So like I said, when you read this in other translations, it's talking about debt. You know what I'm saying? In America, like I said, it's a debt ran society. They try to put everybody in debt, because they say it build up your credit score and all that stuff. Because like I said, if you go to a car lot and you don't have no type of debt, they're gonna look at you crazy. Like, you might not get the car. Like I said, they're gonna force you to try to Like, well, sure, you need a credit card. Go get this. Go get that. That should be alarming to anybody, but we go along with it though. That's crazy. And it says, they should not rise up suddenly, that they shall bite thee, in the wake shall vex thee, and thou shalt say before the booties unto them. Right? So just get these precepts real quick. So, because like I said, we got to understand this place that we're dealing with, and why places like Silicon Valley is, going through what they're going through, because America is a debt ran society, and this is all prophesied from before, all the stuff that happened, and we got to understand that. So let's get Isaiah 13 and 17. So it says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they should not delight in it." So that's what's going to happen when these countries start to get ready to go to war with America. They're gonna be like, "Look, all them trillions of dollars you owe us, forget it. We're gonna come and get it in blood." They're not gonna be thinking about those different, uh, they're not gonna. Then America's not gonna be able to pay them off neither. America's not gonna be able to pay them off, or they're not gonna be able to sanction them. Because you see, Russia is still moving full full head of steam. Korea is still moving full head of steam. With all these sanctions, they don't care about all that. That's why it says, um, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they should not delight in it. Meaning, they're not worried about the money. You know what I'm saying? It's all about respect now. You know what I'm saying? That's how these countries is getting down. You know, and and we got to understand that, because and how this stuff is coming to play. This is how you understand the Bible, because the Bible talk about all these things before it happened. So, and we just getting to understand it. And it says, let's get Ecclesiastes, should I say? Start at 1. So it says, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, which thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them." So we got to remember, you know, we got to remember the Most High God, and how He operate, and what He says is going to come to pass. It says, "While the evil days come not," meaning before these evil days come, because we living in those times. Because like I said, we see the banks is closing. We see like the supermarkets is becoming bare, and a lot of other companies is laying off people. Especially in the tech industry, since they took this big hit this week. you know, because you can Google the tech industry layoffs and how many mainstream companies is laying off their employees right now. So it says, uh, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun or the light, or the moon, or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain." So we need to understand what's happening here. We need to get this understanding, because, like we read in other verses, that God declared the end from the beginning. He told us what was going to happen. It's just that we have been hard headed and never picked up this book to read it for ourselves. We've been letting pastor, come and tell us a good story rather than actually reading this book, right? And let's keep it moving. And it says, and shall take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe is him that increases what is not his, how long, and him that laid himself with the clay, right? And let's get this real quick. Obadiah in 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even into the border. So we're talking about the EU and NATO, right? Right now. So, because, like I said, it's a prophesied that a lot of the members of the EU and the NATO is going to turn on America. It says, all the men of thy confederacy, meaning all the people that you are joined with together, have brought ye even unto the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Meaning, these countries that you think you cool with, uh, like Jadakiss says, the niggas that you think you cool with will turn your brains into cool with. So these countries that you think you cool with, you know what I'm saying? It says they have deceived thee and prevail against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid up a wound under thee, and there is no understanding in him. Meaning, you're not going to be able to talk them down and come to a peaceful resolve with these people. Once they decide to turn on you and say, hey, America been leading us down this path of destruction, instead of us continuing on this path, let's destroy these people. Let's join up with Russia, Korea, and Iran and all the rest of them and destroy these people, right? So, and that's what they're gonna come to that conclusion in that great day. It says, let's get Second Ezra real quick. 15 and boom, 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 I think 18 says, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. So that's what's happening to this place. Because of the pride of this place, the cities are troubled because they never thought this can happen to America because America is so great. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the greatest country, you know what I'm saying? God bless America and no place else. You know what I'm saying? And so it says, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and the man shall be afraid. And it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. Meaning, it's going to come to a point in time where you can't even trust your neighbor because he's going to be looking to run up in your house. Because, like I said, once the grocery stores get really bare and stuff, there's nothing on the shelves, and people looking in a refrigerator or their cabinets and they see that there's nothing in there, they're going to be looking next door to see what they got. All right. And we're coming to that time. You know what I'm saying? And we got to understand, like, this is what's happening because America's not telling you that America's spending way too much money than they're actually making. Right. And how many people remember that picture where they had all those ships that's coming in from different countries, with the imports, from different companies that's waiting to dock, but they couldn't dock because America closed their ports. It's like thousands and thousands of ships out to sea that's waiting to dock, and so then, and a lot of them being, is going to have to sit out there because they're not going to be able to come and dock. You know what I'm saying? Like, how come you haven't heard anything else about that? A lot of them ships are still out there. You know what I'm saying? So then, since they're not going to be able to come and so-called refurbish these stores and stuff, the goods that America sells, it's only a matter of time before all this stuff starts to become empty and people start to go crazy because people love to have stuff, right? So then, when you're no longer able to get stuff, then people are going to go crazy. So it says, a man shall not, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because the lack of bread for a great tribulation. So when this stuff happens, people are gonna have a lack of bread, a lack of food in this tribulation, and then they're gonna go crazy and wanna invade other people's houses to find the bread. That's why we need the Most High God, you know, to protect us in those days and to make sure that we're able to survive throughout these times. Because God says, "My servants shall eat, but they will be hungry. My servants shall drink, but they will be thirsty." So we want to be on that side, and hopefully we can all be on that side. So then it says, uh, they should. This back in Habakkuk 2:7. And they shall not rise suddenly, and they shall bite thee in the wake, and that shall vex thee, and shall be more booty unto them. Meaning, all the stuff that they been robbing and stealing. Be, because thou hast spoiled many nations, and all remnants of people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, for the violence of the land of the city and of all that dwell wherein. So let's get this again. Let's go to Obadiah and start at verse 2. Behold, I had made thee small among the heathen, talking about the so-called white man, the so-called European. And they are small among the heathen. They are when it comes to people outside of Israel, uh, they are the least population. Then on top of that, they're dying off more than they're actually being born. More people are dying than the babies are being born out of their nation. It says, "Behold, I have made them small among nations, thou art greatly despised." Nobody really likes these people. We just deal with them because they control everything. The pride of thy heart has deceived thee. Thou hast dwell in cliffs and rocks. We know who dwells in cliffs and rocks. These cavemen, these cave beasts. And who are the cavemen? And who are the cave beasts? We know who they are. Whose habitation is high. Uh, that's why they build all these skyscrapers in these big cities, because they're so used to living on mountains and living in these high peaks, high altitude. So they build all these skyscrapers. It says, thou who pride has deceived thee, and thou hast dwell in cliffs and rocks, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down? That's pride talking. We know who's pride, because how many songs they got about America and how prideful these people was. You know, it says, "Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle," and we know what America's symbol was. It's the eagle. That's the apex predator. And we know what an apex predator does. And America has been acting like an apex predator, where they go around to these different nations, robbing and stealing and killing. Though they exalt themselves as an eagle, and thou hast set thy nest among the stars, hence I will bring thee down, said the Lord. If thieves come to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they have not stolen until they had enough? No, these people will not have enough. These people always still they don't have enough, like we read here in Habakkuk, where it says that his desires is as hell and as death and cannot be satisfied. Right? So they cannot be satisfied. It says, would they have not stolen until they had enough? If grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Meaning, when you're picking grapes on a grapevine, sometimes grapes fall to the ground. They're saying that not only would these people take the grapes off the grapevine, that they would take the grapes that fell to the ground also. They would not leave nothing left. They would steal it all. That's how these people get down. How are the things of Esau? Because, like I said, we're talking about these people, Esau, the so-called European. How are these things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Meaning, like, why is people not wondering about the evils of this person? Like, this person. How could you cannot see? How can we not see all the wickedness that these people have caused on this earth? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to thy border, and the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. Meaning, all their so-called allies, a lot of them gonna end up turning on them, and they're gonna overcome them. It says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, that they eat thy bread and lay a wound underneath thee. There is no understanding in him. Meaning, like, you're not gonna be able to make peace with these people after they realize who you really are, right? So it says boom boom boom. Woe to him that back to Habakkuk 2:9. Woe to him that covereth a evil covetousness uh, to uh, to his house, that may that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. So, that's how these people get down. It says, for the stone shall carry out the veil, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that built a town with blood and established the city by iniquity. How was America created? Through blood and iniquity. They killed the Native American people. They brought us over off the western shores of Africa, and they murdered a lot of us, over here. And they continue to murder a lot of us. It says, "Woe to him that, uh, no, where that? Woe to him that built a town with blood and established a city by iniquity." And that's how these people is, you know. And the Bible says destruction to this place that built, on concerning on how they built this country, right? It says, um, "Behold, it is not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall worry themselves for vanity." Meaning, God didn't want his people to go through, you know, these heartaches that we've been going through in America, these ups and downs, paying all these bills, all this stress, got to work all the time, and it feel like you're working for nothing. You spend your whole life working, and you can't retire until you're like 65, then they're 70. Since some people be working well into their 70s oftentimes before they can really enjoy their life, because they had to spend most of their life working. God says he didn't make it like that. It says, "Behold, it is not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the fire." And the fire is all this hell and destruction that we've been going through here in America. "And the people shall weary themselves and be for very vanity." Meaning, we should work our finger to the bones and barely have enough, to support ourselves, right? So, and that's what we're seeing here, right? And we get a few more, before we get out of here. Let's get make it quick. Let's go to Ecclesiastes real quick. I want Ecclesiastes and 4. Ecclesiastes 12:4. And it says, "And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low." And the sound of the grinding is talking about working. Just like, a few years ago when the streets was bare, and a lot of companies was closed down. They're trying to figure it out, and that's what's coming again, Um, and it says, "The doors shall be shut in the streets, and when the sound of the grinding is low," meaning the working, the whole, people going to work all the time, and the whole little different industries and stuff that's booming and is happening. It says when that stuff starts to slow down, it says, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of the music shall be brought low. So, like I said, so it's going to be a hard time, and we're getting ready to go through those hard times again. Y'all thought that the whole C-19 epidemic thing was something, but we about to see something that we haven't seen before, right? And let's get Amos real quick. 8. We want to start at 10. All right, hold on real quick, Salakia. Yeah, Salakia, right? So it's Amos and 10, right? So it says, and I will turn your feasts into mourning, and all your songs into lamentations. So that's why we see a lot of bad stuff going on in the world. Like you be having plans to do something nice, then it end up not coming to fruition. Or something tragic might happen, or whatever the case may be. It says, I will turn your feasts into mourning, and all your songs into lamentation. I will bring up sackcloth upon the loins and baldness upon every head. I mean, it's going to be a very stressful time that we're about to go through. Very, stressful time. It's not going to be, what's that song, like, by it's on the Boys in the Hood album. It says, you never hear me make a happy jam. So it's not going to be no happy jams going on. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, the Lord is telling us was coming to this place. You're not gonna have those good occasions no more where you can go out and have a good time, and enjoy things, without seeing something happening. So it says, I will bring up sackcloth upon the loins and baldness upon every head, and I will make it as the morning of a only son, and the end thereof a a bitter day. Like I said, it's gonna be a lot of stressful, a lot of hard times, a lot of bad days. Right? Behold, the days cometh, said the Lord God, that I will send a famine in the land, and not a famine of bread. Meaning, you know, it's not this famine that is about to happen. Yeah, the grocery stores and all that stuff gonna be bare, but he's talking about this famine that he's talking about here. It's not talking about food. It's talking about knowledge and wisdom. You know, and because people are gonna in that day, people are gonna be seeking some understanding of what they're seeing in the world. They're gonna want to know, and then they're not gonna be able to find anybody that can give them any adequate answers. So it says, Behold, the days shall come, said the Lord God, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor thirst for water, but a hearing of the word of the Lord. So that's what's going to happen. You're going to be wondering, like, man, what God said about this? Why is this happening on the planet? Who can I go talk to figure out why this is happening? But it says it's going to be a famine of the Lord. People are not going to be able to understand, find any, righteous wisdom in that day to see what's happening. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall come run, uh, They shall come run to and fro to seek the words of Yahweh and shall not find it. That's what's gonna happen in that day. You shall not find it. You know, and and that's what's gonna happen. That's why it's important for us to understand what's happening right now. So when that day actually coming to fruition, we can understand what's going on. Because the Bible says knowledge and wisdom will be our stability in those times. So if you ain't got the knowledge and wisdom to understand what's happening, you're gonna be out here crazy. You're gonna be running around like a chicken with your head cut off, not understanding what's going on. You know, and let's get Psalms real quick. Um, 74 and 9. So it says, we will see not our signs, there will be no more any prophet, neither shall there among us any that know how long. So like I said, it's gonna be a famine of the most high, the famine of the word, and the saying that uh we shall not our signs, meaning you're not gonna be able to, look at the signs and see what's going on. Whatever little mechanism you was using to try to figure stuff out, it ain't gonna be working for you in that day. It says there is no more any prophets, neither is there any among us that know of how long. So you're gonna be trying to see how long we're gonna be going through this. This is such a bad, terrible time. We need to find somebody that can give us the right answer to figure out how long this is gonna be. But you're not gonna be able to find nobody like that in that time. Let's get Proverbs real quick. 29 and 18. And it says, whereas there is no vision, the people perish. So if you ain't got no vision and understanding, it says the people will perish. Um, but he that keepeth the law is happy is he. So that's why what I said earlier that when I was paraphrasing that the Bible says wisdom and knowledge will be our stability in these times. So it says and we get the wisdom and knowledge from the law, the keeping the commandments. It says, whereas there is no vision, the people shall perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. So we want to be on that side of the fence, right? So let's get one more. Hosea 2 and 3. And it says, lest I strip her naked and set her as the day that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. So that's what's going to happen. We're going to be slaved with that thirst of knowledge, what I'm saying, that understanding, that wisdom that we're going to want to have in that day. And and if you ain't trying to get it right now, then when that day come, you're gonna be lost in the sauce. So, and so that's what's going on here. So when we see these things happening in Seneca Valley, uh, the grocery stores being bare, war is on the cusp. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff is coming to the forefront. We understand what is happening in the time that we living in, and the fact that we living in the last days, and we got to try to get this thing right, so we can be protected in these days when things happen. You know, and because you don't want to, because not understanding what's going on is going to cause a lot of stress and heartache, and misery, because you don't want to take the time to figure out what this is all about. Because we've been spending more than our life letting the pastor lie to us. These churches that set up by the government lie to us, rather than getting a real understanding by reading this book. Because the Bible tells you, "Blessed is he that readeth," right? So, and we got to read this book to get some understanding, right? And and that's just how it goes. So we got to get some understanding of what's happening around here. And so, that's basically it. What I'm saying, I'm gonna league out with that. And so hopefully, what I'm saying, y'all get some understanding and understand that, you know, that God, everything that's happening is all part of God's plan, and it's all predicated on our salvation of getting out of this place. And what I'm saying, and hopefully we can make it to that other side, be safe and get out of there. So till then, I say shalom, and hopefully, this help somebody out. And so shalom and peace. Not to the Middle East.